Hello. We are in week 6 now. It's so you can see how quickly the term goes. It's just unbelievable how quickly we get through these courses, and I just have to commend you all for working so very hard. So this week, you will be reading from your Groundswell and your Alone Together text, and bigger than that, you'll be turning in your case study and presentation. When I built this class, rebuilt it, I should say, I realized that we often have midterms, but because it is social media, the thought of including a case study rather than a midterm and making it week 6 seemed to make sense so that you had time to work on it ahead of time. So this week, your reading, Connecting Transforms, is very interesting. It actually is showing you how social media has transformed the connections and how the believability rate for posts that are, whether it be beauty posts or cooking or diet tips or fitness, there is so much that social media can do to build the reputation, because there's research that shows nowadays people really rely on reviews more than advertising or more than, other forms of reaching out. So getting positive reviews is really, really important. A case study that is mentioned in the text in this chapter on Dell is just a classic one now, textbook example of how you can use proper communication and social media to turn the tide on public opinion that might be developing. And then you'll be reading about True Confessions in chapter 12. I hope you're enjoying these textbooks. These are more trade manuals, but I think for this topic, they work so very well. So should you have questions as you're reading along, do send me an email and I'd be happy to address those. So you do have your discussion board and your reflective essay, which is on audience. And audience is a topic that I find really very, very important within the field of public relations. One of the first concepts a public relations practitioner learns is know your audience. Know and understand your audience. And to do that, you often have to research, which brings us back to research, planning, implementation, and evaluation. But you really need to know and understand your audience. If you do not connect with them through the right platform and in the right manner, all messages may not be received as well as they could be. So it's really important to take the time to understand your audience. And your case study. So your case study is a 4 to 5 page paper where you are evaluating a case study of public relations involving new media or social media using the SWOT, which is strengths, weaknesses. And so I think I will post something. Oh, I think I did post something about SWOT. Yes, I did. So yes, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. That is SWOT, and I do have a YouTube that explains it, so that if you are not familiar with that terminology, we have so many acronyms that sometimes they get lost, or we might forget for the moment. But please do take a look at that. And so you're writing your paper and turning that in here, and then you are doing either a YouTube or a VoiceThread presentation of that, which should only be, the presentation can be fairly brief. It can be 3 to 5 minutes, just 4 slides where you're sharing what you learned with your course mates. And this is a link to show you how to use VoiceThread. So you can share that PowerPoint that way, or some folks like to do it through YouTube. So that's kind of up to you, but do reach out if you have any questions about that. And we have a best practices approach here that's very interesting about measurement and top social media research studies. These are the ones that I posted that you may use or browse through, but I really encourage students to find their own. If there is a campaign that you are familiar with that you would prefer to use, that is perfectly fine. I'm also going to post a graphic about SWOT, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, so that you're clear on that. Again, you might think, sometimes I've had students reach out and say, I'm not sure exactly how I'm supposed to do this. Well, that's the feeling you have a lot of times in public relations. You do know tools and you have resources, and if you've got your master's, you have all your texts and you have past projects that you've worked on, but we're always faced with, how am I going to tackle this? And that's the kind of thinking that is required to be successful in this field. So I encourage that. So if these assignments have you scratching your head at first, like, what exactly do I want to do with this? then do reach out and I'll give you some additional help. But that activity of figuring it out and putting it all together is really healthy for you as a person who works within the field of public relations and communications. So that is your week. And as I said, we are at week 6, so we're coming into the home stretch. At this point, I really advise that students look at week 7 and week 8 and reach out if they have questions, and feel free to work ahead. Many of my students will finish all the work during week 7 because they just want, get the momentum going and want to finish it up. That's not required, but certainly if you have extra time, you might want to look ahead and begin to work on some of your future assignments. If any of you have prayer requests, please do reach out for me. I'm happy to pray for my students. God bless you and have a great day. Thank you.